Absorbed by the impressive landscape of the school district, he almost leans over the fence, distracted by the grandeur of the place and the constant movement of students of various races below. It is in this setting that his eyes are drawn to a young half-elf girl of noble appearance, with long brown hair, emerald eyes, and a green streak that betrays her lineage. Something about her awakens an immediate and unexpected association, making him murmur a familiar name. As if sensing his gaze, she turns, and for a brief moment, under the blue sky, the two stare at each other from a distance. The moment is brutally interrupted by an emergency announcement echoing throughout the school district. The voice accuses the presence of invaders, detailing with alarming precision the characteristics of one of them: human male, white hair and red eyes. With each word, panic spreads, and the blood seems to drain from his face. The gazes of students around him change rapidly, transforming curiosity into suspicion. Murmurs spread, converge, and in a few seconds the accusation materializes in screams. Recognized as a target, he turns and starts running, feeling the immediate weight of becoming a wanted intruder in the heart of enemy territory. The chase builds with frightening speed. Students organize themselves, shout orders, close off routes, and request permission to use weapons and magic. Surrounded on all sides, he realizes that this is not a disorderly crowd, but a trained, coordinated, and efficient group. Desperation grows along with the fear of being captured and treated as a criminal. At the limit, he gathers his strength and executes an impossible leap, crossing the roof of a building and breaking the encirclement for an instant. Upon landing on an empty street, he understands that the escape has only just begun, and that the entire school district could turn into a closed trap around him. The escape continues through the cobblestone streets, now marked by an even more frantic pace. Even after escaping the first encirclement, new students emerge from alleys and side passages, closing off paths with frightening precision. Their coordination is impeccable, very different from the usual chaos of chases in Oreo, and this transforms each turn into a calculated risk. Still, the body reacts before fear. It runs, dodges, accelerates, exploiting every tiny opening with experience accumulated in countless past escapes. The difference in level proves crucial. Now, as a first-class adventurer, his movements surpass human limits, allowing for quick maneuvers and abrupt changes of direction. He narrowly passes pursuers, disappears from their field of vision for precious seconds, and feels, with a mixture of relief and strangeness, that he is able to maintain the lead. This realization brings a clear perception of how much he has grown since the days when he desperately fled from the Apollo and Ishtar families. Still, there is no room for pride. The threat remains real, constant, and increasingly organized. The problem worsens when his name begins to echo among the students. The disguise of a uniform becomes useless. He is recognized as Bel Crannel, the Rabbit's Foot, the adventurer who reached level 5. The initial admiration quickly mixes with frustration, anger, and hostility. Shouts of disappointment and accusations hit him hard, corroding his mind as he runs. The words hurt as much as the physical exhaustion, bringing back memories of times when he was unjustly judged and hated. With teary eyes, he continues forward, feeling the cruel weight of being famous in a place where he shouldn't even be. The escape reaches a critical point when reinforcements arrive from all sides. The streets fill with students, some advancing on the ground, others occupying rooftops and elevated walkways, gradually pushing him toward the center of the school district. The possibilities of escape are exhausted one by one. Jumping into the sea ceases to be an option, and forcing a breach in the siege would mean hurting people who, despite the hostility, are still just students. This hesitation, guided by conscience, traps him even more in the trap that closes around him. With no other options, he chooses the only remaining route, the tower in the heart of the district. He runs inside before the siege is complete and begins to climb the spiral staircase, each step echoing like a warning that there is no turning back. Behind him, the crowd surges in like an avalanche, voices mingling in shouts, orders, and accusations. As he ascends, the feeling of being pushed toward an inevitable judgment intensifies, turning the race into a desperate climb. As he speeds through the floors, he notices frightened stares and tense expressions from students and figures who look like teachers. Chaos spreads through the tower, and guilt settles in his chest. He mentally apologizes, repeating to himself that none of this should be happening. However, he continues climbing, knowing that stopping would mean surrendering to a situation that is already completely out of his control, ending the escape not with victory, but with a bitter feeling of inevitability.